Hi, year one. I hope you've all had a good day so far. It is now time for geography. Now, before we start our lesson, we're going to think about what we have been doing in our past two lessons. So, we have been learning about the United Kingdom. Can you remember which four countries make up the United Kingdom? Do you know what this country here that is in red is called? I'll give you a clue. It's the country that we live in. That's right, it's England. Do you know what this country to the left of England is called in yellow? That's right, Wales. And then if we go over the Irish Sea, do you know which country is here in green? Well done, that's right, Northern Ireland. And then right at the top in blue, can you remember what that country is called? Amazing. It is Scotland. Well done. Last week, we were learning all about facts from each different country, and I'm going to test you and see what you can remember. So, the first thing that I'm going to test you on is England. Can you remember in England what people like to have for their breakfast? You might have had this for your breakfast before. That's right, a full English breakfast. Can you remember what's included on a full English breakfast? This picture might help you. That's right, so we've got bacon, sausage, mushrooms, beans, egg, black pudding, tomatoes, and toast. I think that looks delicious. Can you remember in Wales, so the yellow one, can you remember they speak English, but they also speak another language? Can you remember what that language was called? That's right, they also speak Welsh. So if we have a look at this sign, which says Welcome to Wales, it's written in English, and then underneath it also says Welcome to Wales, but in Welsh. The next country that we are going to look at is Northern Ireland. Can you remember what the capital city in Northern Ireland is called? That's right, Belfast. And then our last fact is from Scotland. Can you remember when men in Scotland want to look smart, so it might be for a wedding, what would they wear? That's right, it's called a kilt, and it looks a little bit like a skirt. Well done. I can see that you have remembered lots from the past two lessons. Today, we are going to be looking at landmarks that you would find in our capital city, which is London. So, London is in England, which is the red part of the London map. It is the capital city. London is the biggest city in England, and it was the very first country in the world to have an underground railway, which is called the Tube. This is a picture of the London Underground, the Tube. This is the fastest way to get around London. And this is what the inside of a tube looks like. So it's a little bit like a train. Lots of people visit London to see many famous sites. And this lesson, we're going to have a look at some of those sites. So the first one that we're going to be looking at is the Houses of Parliament. This is the picture of the Houses of Parliament. So we've got the House of Parliament here, and then we've got another famous landmark from London here. Can you name it? It's a clock. That's right, Big Ben. Big Ben is attached to the Houses of Parliament. So in the Houses of Parliament, this is where all the laws, the British laws, are decided. And there are 3 main towers. So there's one there, second one, and the third one. And in the Houses of Parliament, there are 1,000 rooms. So it's very big. We just spoke about Big Ben. So the tower was finished in 1858. The hour hand is 2.7 metres long and the minute hand is 4.3 metres long. And like we already said, it is part of Houses of Parliament. The next place that we are going to look at is Buckingham Palace. Do you know who lives in Buckingham Palace? That's right, Queen Elizabeth and other members of the royal family. So Buckingham Palace has 775 rooms, and it always has a flag flying above Buckingham Palace. This is a picture of when I visited Buckingham Palace. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the Queen, but as you can see, it was very busy with lots of other tourists visiting Buckingham Palace and taking pictures. I did manage to see some of the soldiers that were standing guard outside Buckingham Palace. This is a picture of some of the soldiers outside Buckingham Palace. They are also called the Queen's Guards. You might have seen them on the television before. The next landmark that we are going to look at is the London Eye. This is a picture of the London Eye. So the London Eye lets people see all of London. It takes 30 minutes to go all the way around the London Eye. That's half an hour. Each year, 3.5 million people go to the London Eye. That is a lot of people. If you go up in one of the capsules, you will be able to see all of the landmarks that we've just talked about. Can you name any of them? That's right, you might see Buckingham Palace. You might see the Houses of Parliament. And you might even see Big Ben. The last landmark that we're going to be looking at is called the Tower Bridge. This is a picture of the Tower Bridge. So the Tower Bridge was built in 1894. And the middle part of the bridge, this part, rises when boats need to go through it. So it lets them through. And it stands over the River Thames. For today's lesson, I would like you to pick one of the landmarks and complete a fact file on the landmark. You can either do it on the sheet provided on Dojo, or you can make one at home and take a picture of it and your grown-up can upload it to Dojo so me and Miss Cardus can see your work.